Okay, so the logistics app or our driver delivery app, you'll hear our support team or our customers call it that. So many of our customers in distribution and manufacturing, they obviously take materials in and they ship materials out, they warehouse it, take orders, just as we discussed in our last video. When it comes to delivery, which is the logistics part here, there's a variety of methods that can be by a shipper, shipping company, common carriers, whether it's freight or small packages, or in many cases they have their own delivery trucks and delivery fleet. So what that means is they would potentially have an entire fleet of trucks that go from their warehouse to different delivery locations, customers' locations, and unload and deliver that material, and then come back and fill up again. In that operation, there could be a very small set of steps or very long set of steps, but it is a major portion of their business if you have your own delivery fleet. So think of it as a truck and a warehouse with a yard. You'd have forklifts driving around, picking up material, loading it on the trucks according to the delivery route and schedule. People checking those loads, making sure they're correct before they leave. The truck would be leaving the yard or warehouse, going to a customer's location, and of course it has to be unloaded many times by forklift, or in some cases the truck itself might have a boom and a crane on it to deliver that material. So it can be in all shapes and fashions. Sometimes a customer may be delivering to a retail location and need to bring pallets and bins in, maybe sometimes even stocking the shelves. So this piece is this is how they ship, and then obviously that's the last piece to actually, they've made the sale, they have to get it there in good condition. Some potential gotchas with that. One, of course, we're all used to as a consumer, we want to know where our delivery's at. We'll think at a large scale. I may be a customer who is building a building, and I have a crew of people ready to install product, but I'm waiting on my delivery. And so I have to pay those people to stand there and wait for the delivery of that product. Or I have a schedule I have to meet, so I don't want to call my workers too early and have them waiting, and they may be working on other customers' jobs. But once I know that delivery has arrived, I only have a certain amount of time to get that material installed. Otherwise, I'm holding up the rest of everyone else working on that construction site. You can think of it as, I have a hardware store, I'm delivering product to that hardware store. There's consumers waiting to get product or have it on order, or I have empty shelves, so I'm losing money because people are coming in and looking for specific inventory, and I don't have any on the shelf. So as a customer of our customer, this is a very critical piece of near real time, and the ROI or return on investment can be very high depending on how well I'm delivering that product to my customer. And it can mean the difference between sales or not sales. Also, in a distribution / sometimes manufacturing business, this can be the biggest or largest expense that they have, or one of the largest expense. So I have inventory, I have buildings. If I have a delivery fleet, I'm paying man hours, gas, trucks or vehicles, maintenance, insurance, how many miles am I running those trucks? What's the repair on those trucks? So tracking expenses also will factor into what I may even price my product at when I sell it, because I have to cover this cost as part of my overhead. So these are all areas where we seem like we've designed simple features at a high level, but a lot of the features we're designing both enhance the customer's experience, drive some operational efficiencies, and gives better insight many times into this for the customer, potentially sales folks who are in constant contact with customers, and even the customer directly by feeding data from the logistical operation. So if you look at this diagram, we're feeding data in real time back and forth with the ERP, usually as well as the logistical system if they have one, or we might be providing a portion of this logistical system for our customer. Okay, so looking at that today, we're going to go over what we call the driver delivery app in its current form for one of our customers. We are working on customizing the app as well. I'm going to start, they are in the app stores. Currently today we have a delivery app based on once your login and the site you choose, it will color itself and adapt to the specific company. We are working to flavorize it, meaning we will offer different versions that are customer specific with their logo. This was more of a generic app that would skin itself once somebody installed it. So they are in the app stores. They are native apps and can go on any Android or iOS device. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the app, and this is an overview. So today many customers in distribution manufacturing still use paper. It is not a paperless operation. So we've digitized some of that process, and we still also leverage the paperwork when the customer has it. Many customers are moving towards paperless, but it's a long and complicated process. So basic login screen, I won't cover that. Some permissions we need. We do have a built-in barcode scanner to scan barcodes off of paperwork, so people have to do as little typing as possible. And I would say, if you picture the life of a delivery driver during the day, he's pulling up somewhere, he has to process paperwork, get his load unloaded, and move on to the next stop, and usually he's incentivized by how many deliveries he's making. So we try to keep this process as simple as possible for him, and we keep it down to a very short series of steps. So just to recap, they can type in the order number, which translates to the order number that came out of the ERP, or that was placed on the website that's synced up with the ERP. So they can type that in or scan it, and then we'll pull the order via cell signal or Wi-Fi or whatever network connection it has on. We are in the process also of allowing customers to load their orders for that run or that delivery cycle onto the app, so that if they do not have a connection, the app will work offline. All right, so I've pulled up the order details. I can see the place I'm delivering it to. I can tap for directions, and that punches out to Google Maps or whatever mapping system the phone is using. And then there's a series of buttons that mimic the delivery sequence. So I could be out for delivery, means, hey, it's the morning, the truck's leaving the warehouse. It might be out for 8 hours on deliveries, but you would know your order's out for delivery today. This can be a manual process where you tap in the app, or depending on the customer setup, if they're using the same warehouse locations, we can trap a geofence and automatically send that. And I'll talk more about what happens when I click that. Then there's on my way, means if I might have 10 stops. And so it's very helpful many times for the customer to know you're the next stop. Depending on our customers, what they would like to give customers, we can show the truck like Uber if needed. We can estimate it ETA. Many customers prefer not to do that because they're big commercial vehicles. They prefer just to let the customer know, hey, you are the next stop, so your order will be arriving. And then when they arrive on site, the driver can tap arrived, and this does two things. It records the arrival time, which is important. It's also going to geolocate the arrived location. So we're recording every time a driver taps a button, or delivery person, we are recording that. So this means I've arrived at the delivery site. So deliveries, from a consumer perspective, they're usually 60 seconds or a couple minutes. From a commercial perspective, I could be unloading for 2-3 hours. I could be there 4 hours, depending if I'm waiting in line to unload at a commercial job site. So in tracking where trucks are, how long they're spending where, this is important metric. You might say, well, couldn't you just use GPS to know that you arrived? There are systems that use geofences, and if it's the same fixed location all the time, that's possible to trip that automatically. However, there are a lot of caveats around that, which I won't cover today, but sometimes a truck goes in and out of a geofence, sometimes the geofence isn't correct. So having the driver tap to arrive, there are advantages to that. Okay, once I unloaded, and I'll switch over here, it's the same screen, I can add images to the order. Now this can be done at any time. It doesn't have to be part of the sequence flow per se, but basically I can take images of what was delivered. And so we all hear, Amazon has thousands of packages stolen every day. These are many times materials that are delivered at a commercial site, delivered in the middle of the night, delivered when nobody else is there, and it's worth thousands of dollars. So this allows us to capture images of the material on the job site that we can provide the customer and also record for ourselves. If the customer would like, they can also complete a checklist, and using a series of JSON or pre-configured questions that you can update in the portal, in the Kodaris portal, the app will present those questions automatically in app form for the driver to go through and check off that they're doing certain things or make notes during the delivery. Lastly, they'll type delivered, and this kicks off a series of chain of events capturing, obviously we record that so we know how long the driver was there, how long it took to unload and make that delivery. This can kick off a series of notifications to the customer as well as salespeople or internal people. And so this is a very important piece. This can also notify the customer. And we've heard many stories where, hey, I have a crew of people, or I was waiting on that delivery. So knowing in real time versus me calling in a day or two saved me thousands of dollars in labor, because I was able to get a head start on that job or that delivery. So when you think about our customers and distribution, many times part of the distribution or even manufacturing is a manufacturer will build and ship materials, distribution warehouses those materials and holds them many times until the exact moment a customer needs them, and then we'll deliver them. So real-time information for distribution is actually very critical because many customers are using, just-in-time inventory or what they need exactly, where and when they need it. And the better service you can provide around that, the better service our customers can provide to their customers. Okay, and then of course, depending on, there's the ability to embed other documents in the app and also capture digital signature for all of those. So let's walk through a little bit the screen. So you can click into the details, see the order, see if there were previous images attached to the order, those different functions. This is just a quick screenshot of the Google Maps, the photo screen. If you're snapping photos of pictures, you'll see those before you click upload now, and or delete them. This is a sample question from the driver checklist. And then this is the digital signature where you can sign with a stylus. You can use your finger to sign on any phone, a smartphone, type in the name, record the date, and click save. And that'll get the checklist, and the customer signature will get exported to a PDF. Lastly, this quick example of a damage waiver. There could be a legal document you want a customer to sign before you go on their premise or something like that, and you can tap to sign that. Now the network queue, once we have captured those documents or we've taken pictures, they'll be stored in a queue to upload when there's good cellular or Wi-Fi signal. Or sometimes it may just take a while. So depending on the queue, let's say you get back in service and it doesn't look like the images are moving, they should move automatically, but we do have a few functions to push the queue or make sure people understand what's on their device and what has been synced up to Kodaris in the cloud. All right, a little bit on notifications, which we'll touch on. This is a sample screenshot of customer SMS notifications. So as we talked about in the previous presentation, customers can subscribe to these. So I can get a text message, we're working on push notifications, or I can also get an email. And these can be customized down to the customer level. So if I'm a company, Rocky Materials, and I'm buying from Tamarack Materials, or I'm XYZ contractor, Tamarack Materials would have, or Pioneer would have, the ability to customize what this SMS looks like at their customer's level, which is a pretty powerful feature. Lastly, there is support built in to the mobile app, and that will go to our Kodaris real-time support chat. So if you're out in the field or someone's working and they have trouble, they can chat for support. All right, this is an example of what one of our customers are doing. I put this slide in here to visualize as driver's going through these different buttons. These buttons this is a DQ Solutions, is a external logistics application that we share data with sometimes when we're integrated with them. So depending on what's happening here, we can push data to DQ or they pull it from us. When I tap I'm out for delivery, or we trip a geofence, customer would receive notifications. We talk about we're arrived, or it's delivered. Accounting at the customer could get notifications. And these can be all different departments. So many times for a large customer, they may have a corporate office. They may have an accounting team in a separate location. There may be people working remotely out on a job site or doing service calls. So we can notify all those people just by our customer's driver tapping one button in a mobile app making a delivery. And lastly, Max Recall is a document management system. We record and store indefinitely all the documents accepted to that, but customers are free because we're an open platform to pull that into other systems as well. Our goal is to be a very open platform that you can use as your information and data hub and still get data into other departments or systems wherever you need it. Okay, that's a very quick overview of the application itself. So let's look at, so I'm a driver, I'm on a delivery truck, and I'm using this app that's running off of the Kodaris cloud. So as a reminder, we'll look quickly. So in our last presentation about commerce and customer portal, we showed you this view, the customer portal with an order history. And basically the driver is delivering orders or tickets that were ordered with items on that order. So as a customer, I can see this many times can be driven out of the logistical system or the ERP, my scheduled delivery date. So I can arrange my resources. And as you can see, even in this case, there is many deliveries being delivered at all different remote locations for this customer. The truck, of course, means that it was delivered. So if I look at a status, and typically once an order is delivered, it moves to, it's going to move to invoice, because typically invoicing happens fairly rapidly so that the customer can invoice their customer and collect some money. So one of the things, if I'm asked to pay an invoice, let's say this is a $2,700 invoice, I'm going to want to know that I've got the material. One of the things when we talk about this, it may seem like a small thing, but if I'm paying thousands of dollars and I'm sitting in a corporate office, maybe thousands of miles away, how do I know that I legitimately received the material and my crew accepted it? So one is the digital signature. One is the pictures the drivers can take. So we saw here where, right, you can capture add order images. So the driver used the camera in the app and basically captured images of the material on the job site when he delivered it. And where he stocked it, because let's say this was left in an empty building and somebody came in and knocked this down or broke some of these pieces, in this case of drywall. As a distributor, I'm to blame, because how am I going to prove that it was in good shape? Well, now I can easily do that, and the customer can see this real time in their account. Additionally, some customers are still taking pictures of the paperwork, so that as a customer, I don't need this piece of paper. So imagine I'm a customer, I'm taking material, maybe I have somebody there. A customer of, let's say, Tamarack Materials would need to collect all these crumpled pieces of paper as proof of signature and deliveries before I pay, so that I know my person said they'd pay it or they paid it. So even by capturing a digital picture of the piece of paper, now someone who's going to pay this invoice, Tamarack has just saved that customer a huge amount of headaches. They don't have to collect pieces of paper. They don't have to verify them and match them to invoices. Because I've clicked on an invoice, whatever this delivery was. I have my images to prove the materials there, it was in good shape. I have my even pictures of those pieces of paper showing the signature. So literally it's a hands-off, hands-free process now for me as a customer. So from a Kodaris perspective, we've helped our customer optimize that experience for delivery, for proof of delivery for the person paying the bill, and from a scheduling and receiving perspective, we've given our customer more tools and more time. And this will drive, in turn, this will drive business for Tamarack Materials because they're able to provide their customer this service. Now, it's a small piece of what's in the platform. It's integrated, but if we go back to our digital workflow diagram, this is an end-to-end digital process that somebody here in delivery is showing this person data in real time, which in turn will allow this customer to make a digital payment, which will collect, settle, and will end up hands-free in the ERP. So what seems like a very simple feature is there and is actually quite valuable. Additionally, as a reminder, we talked about it yesterday, but customers can subscribe individually to those notifications. So I might be in 3 corporate offices, I might have people on the field. I can get those emails, SMS, push notifications on my phone, on my tablet. As a customer, I can get those anywhere in the world, no matter which department I'm working in. Which will also, this feature has federated information in real time across anyone in our customer who needs to know that. And that also allows them to save their customer time and money by calling the office saying, hey, is that there? Did we get delivered? Are you paying that? So this is a customer side. There's also in the portal and in the web dashboard, dispatchers can see all of this data as well in real time. So all the images, everything the customer can see, salespeople or operational people can also additionally see that information. So at a whole, that's the driver delivery app flows. There's definitely several things we're working on to build on top of that and improve it even more. But it does provide a great service for our customers and is one of the main drivers sometimes of a customer's business, because delivery is such a big piece for our customers and their business.